going on, guys? Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, Georgia. In front of us, we have the adorable 2023 Honda Navi. This is a small little 125cc mini bike with a scooter engine. This is gonna be a first ride where I am laughing the whole freaking time. You guys know I'm excited. This is a first ride though, so first off, we gotta see what it looks like and we gotta see what it sounds like. Now, before we get going, this video is not sponsored, but it is supported by our website, wbrgarage.com, where we are building a 2018 Yamaha R6 into an R6M. If you guys want to win that motorcycle, we actually give it away once the build is done. You can go check it out at wbrgarage.com. If you grab some merch or grab a membership, you will be entered to win that motorcycle. Don't worry, everything is calculated in the website internally. If you want to win an R6M, it's going to be a good time. Go check it out. It'll be top link in the description. But it is time to have fun on a mini bike, guys. This thing is hilarious. So, fun story with some weirdness you guys are going to notice in this video. Let's go ahead and get on. Way harder suspension than I thought it would have. You guys are going to notice some camera car footage that does not look like the green that this Navi is on. Fun fact, we filmed the camera car footage about 6 months ago, and unfortunately that Navi got sold because we weren't able to finish that video when we first recorded it. And I've been waiting at Mountain for them to get another one of these for 6 months, and that's how long it's taken. It's absolutely insane. So glad to finally be back on a Navi. All right, so guys, I am 5'10". I got a 32-inch inseam, and as you guys can see, super bent legs on the Navi here. Even if you are extremely short, I don't think you guys are going to have a problem flat-footing this bike. And another interesting thing about this bike is that it has no clutch. This is actually a parking brake, so you can pull this in, pull that down, and it will actually engage a parking brake. That is not a clutch. Yeah, that's all we really need to know. This is a 125cc, which means today's route is going to be slightly altered to account for a slower motorcycle, and unfortunately there won't be a 40 to 80 pull. All that being said, I think we need to get going. I actually rode here on my CF Moto Papio because I was like, if I'm going to do a review of a mini bike, I should probably get here on a mini bike. So that's what I did. While we're waiting on traffic, if you guys are fans of Discord, we have a motorcycle Discord server full of motorcycle enthusiasts just like yourself. So I would recommend you check it out. It's a good time. Links in the description. Let's go on the Honda Navi. And we're going. We are going here. Oh my goodness, this thing is hilarious. We need to have like a mini bike first ride and then a regular bike first ride. We need to have two different versions because my expectations out of the mini bikes can't be the same as the big bikes. Oh no, it died. It's so quiet, I can't even tell when it's on. What the hell? Alright guys, so the Honda Navi is kind of a strange bike, and I've been trying to rack my brain around like what's the ideal client for this bike, and hopefully throughout this video I can figure that out. But another one of the weird things is no shifter, no nothing. This is not like this is not one of those Honda DCT situations. This is literally like scooter status. So that's what's going on here. I have no control of the of what gearing I'm in at all. You guys can see I don't even have a gear indicator. That's awesome. That guy at least appreciates it. Alright guys, it's a first ride. Let's talk about body position. So my bottom half, we got like a pretty comfortable big seat here. My legs are kind of flat, my upper part of my leg, and then my lower half is just almost going straight down with my legs going, my feet being positioned slightly back. So it's very chair-ish position. I end up calling it that for some reason. Now my upper half, my top part half is straight up and down. My arms are kind of like resting to my side, and then they're just like slightly coming forward. It's a very kind of, I don't want to call it a standard position, just kind of a chair position. Honestly, if I was sitting in a chair, this is exactly what the position I would feel like. My back's really upright. I'm feeling good. I'm just kind of chilling, you know what I mean? Not like I'm going to be doing anything crazy on the Navi or anything. So this is the section I typically talk about modes and tech. Shocker, there are no modes on this bike. There is like no tech on this thing at all. With 109 cc's giving you, I believe, 8 horsepower and 9 foot-pounds of torque, there is not a lot of power to have to manage on this bike. So modes would be like absolutely ridiculous to have. There's not anything to worry with here. It looks like we're capping out at about 40 miles an hour, which I do think is hilarious. All right, guys, so we're just kind of cruising around at city street speed. So let's talk about balance on this bike. This bike is going to give you that very stereotypical mini bike feel, where it weighs next to nothing and it just maneuvers left and right at the drop of a hat. It takes no energy to get this bike to lean over. There is literally no stability happening at all. Obviously, that shouldn't come as a surprise. This bike weighs, I believe, 230 pounds. It's a very tiny bike, has a very tiny wheelbase, so you are never going to have like a crazy amount of stability. But I think that's kind of that adds to the fun of these little bikes. You can literally throw them around, and they almost feel like a toy the majority of the time. Which is a pro or a con. If you're a child like me, then that leads you to riding these things like an absolute idiot. Take on. We always have to acknowledge Chase's favorite car. But if you're new, that kind of chaotic stability level could get you in a trouble. Like, I know what I'm doing, so I can play around. Not having a lot of stability could be a little dangerous for a first-time rider, so it's something to be cautious of. Just to be clear, you're going to get that with every mini bike, whether it be a Papio, a Z125, or the big brother to the Honda Navi, obviously the Honda Grom. Shout out to the OG. I will say, power-wise on city streets is going to be nothing dangerous. Like, the power, it just comes on very slowly. It doesn't surprise you at any point. It's a low amount of power, and it progressively just pushes you, or barely pushes you forward. On a mini bike like this, I don't necessarily think you need a lot of power. I think it's just a fun little scoot around bike. If you guys do track days, you'll probably be looking at this as something like a pit bike to just roll around the pit with, which would be hilarious, especially seeing as though it has a storage compartment. And yes, this little bike has a storage compartment. I will show you guys that later in the video when we're walking around the bike. Because I do find it freaking hilarious. And it's locking. It's a literal locking storage compartment. Look at that, I'm too fast for traffic. Oh, snap. That's one of the crazy things. I think you'd be surprised that if you're living in a city, like if I was living in like downtown or something like that, a Honda Navi will literally be plenty of power to get me around anywhere I need to go in town. Because like you're dealing with traffic all the time. And with something with such a small footprint like this thing, bro, it's absolutely perfect. And cheap as hell. This thing retails, one of these, $1,800. Oh, can we squeak through this? Can we? Come on, Tesla, squeak us through. Let's go, fam. Let's go, fam. Absolutely. Oh my God. I love these little things because the amount of fun that you can have without going fast. It's a rare place. You guys know motorcycling. I'm sure the rest of you guys did it die? It did. Damn it. Stop dying, Navi. As motorcyclists, you know, especially if you're new, which you might be watching this video, we get very excited about the ability of our motorcycles to go very fast, and like it's an adrenaline-packed thought process about motorcycles. So a lot of people, I think, write off little bikes like the Navi, but you don't realize how much fun you can have by having a small footprint motorcycle and then just scooting through traffic. I personally have a phenomenal time, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Now, I will say, right now, I do feel like I need a little more power. I'm like, I can't even keep up with the Tesla. Come on. We are getting to a little more open roads where people can increase their speed some, so this kind of shows you the Honda Navi does have a, I don't want to call it a limit, but like, it's a limit. You know, you can only push it so hard on a little bike like this. I will also say, so far the brakes seem adequate, matching the engine. Take that information for what you will. In reality though, it's a slower bike. It doesn't need as big and strong brakes as a regular motorcycle. I haven't gotten into a situation yet where I was like, man, the brakes are so not good or so good. I haven't gotten to that situation yet. And we actually need to get in the left lane because we are hell no to the highway on the little Honda Navi. All right, I think I'm gonna do a U-turn here because this road's gonna do nothing but open up more and more. You know what I should do? I should pull into that gas station and do the walk around. That's what I'll do. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. That is the most terrifying sign I've ever seen on a car. Baby boomer on board. You know what? Just for safety, let me get back a little bit. I don't know if I can trust them. There's no way they know how to use their infotainment system in that car. All right, QT, you will be our walk-around area, and maybe an official walk-around area for mini bikes. And doing a little U-turn sitch that it can do incredibly well. Alrighty, guys, we're going to park the Navi right here and do a little walk-around. It's going to be great. Here, let me get it on one of the other features. Center stand. How cool is that? I'm gonna let it keep running. Alrighty, guys, here we have the Navi. So scooter engine in the back, a little tiny little baby shock on one side, no shock on the other side. It has a fan the size of a PC fan. I love it. Oh my god. All right, so here's the funny thing about the Navi. I lied. We do have to crank it off or turn it off. So this area, insert the key, is storage. How amazing is that? This may be the most perfect pit bike because you could carry like gloves, glasses, and stuff like that in there, and then you go do the track run, you come back. I love that so much. It also looks like it's shaft driven. Is that what that is, or is that just a suspension? I don't even know, dude. This thing is just so funny. It's so tiny. It's kind of adorable. I don't really like it in the green, this kind of darker green. I don't dislike the green, but I feel like if you're going to have a little bike like this, like, have really fun colors. Don't have a dull green. The vibrant, like, neon green that you guys see in the camera car footage, I think that green is so much better for this motorcycle, in my personal opinion. Coming over to the other side, you guys can see we have the tiny yet huge exhaust. I don't know how both of those are a thing, but they are. Yeah, you have the rear brake down here, obviously the front brake up here. It's a hilarious little deal, and I think it's adorable. So because of that, we're going to keep this on rolling. Such a cool to have a center stand on a little bike like this. Alright guys, we're going to do the steering stem lock test because why not? Also, fun fact, you do have to have the front brake pulled in to do to crank it up. All right, steering stem lock test. Let's find out. Let's see where we are. Steering stem all the way locked. Okay, the Honda Navi wins the steering stem lock test. That is confirmed to be by far the least amount of space needed to do a steering stem lock turnaround. So the Honda Navi wins. Who would have thought it would have come in first place for something? Also, I think it's coming in first place for the cheapest motorcycle we've ever done a first ride on, with a price tag of $1,800. Literally less than 2 G's you can get a Honda Navi. So if it's in your price point, keep that in mind. All right, guys, let's get this first ride going back again as we head back to Mountain and talk about more stuff about the Navi. But first, let's jump to the Cardo Spot to see what the guys and the lady in the camera car think about the little Honda Navi. Assuming we did a Cardo Spot. I don't know if we did. If you guys want a Cardo, they are by far the best Bluetooth communicator you can get for your helmets. We have a 10% discount code in the description. Go check it out. Thank you, Cardo, for sponsoring the show. All right, guys, we're back on the Honda Navi. I'm passing traffic. I'm being crazy. It's a great time. I do want to talk about the cluster and the controls now, though. So like I showed you guys, we got the parking brake up here. We've got brights. We've got no buttons in the back. We've got turn signals and a horn. On the right side, we have the choke here as well. The choke. I have not been able to think of the word choke the whole day. On the right side, we got the starter and the starter button, as well as the front brake. Front brake is positioned a little low for me, but if I just angled it back, it'd be no problem. The feeling on the front brake has been totally adequate. I've got no problem there. I do feel like that parking brake is a little hard to pull. Just little notes. All the buttons feel fine. You know, that I get a click from them, and what more could you ask for on an $1,800 little mini bike? Onto the handlebars. I feel like the handlebars are in a good position. They're not super wide, but that adds to like the kind of small factor of this motorcycle. I think if they were wider, they wouldn't really make a ton of sense. I would feel wider than I feel like I would need to be. All right, guys, let's talk about the dash on the front. There's not a ton of information to talk about. We've got a speed, we've got a tach, we've got a fuel gauge, brights and turn signals. Obviously, the turn signals are kind of combined, so you have one light that blinks if a turn signal is going. If I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't think we really need any more information than that. It gives us all the info we kind of need on a little bike like this. I'm just gonna keep throttling it a little bit just to keep it going. I do think the tach area is hilarious. I love the orange, like the really bright coloring. That's the kind of coloring I feel like this bike needs. I've seen a couple of these out in the wild, and as far as economical modes of transportation, if you live in a city or you live on campus or something like that, and you don't have the money for a car, I do feel like this thing might be literally perfect if you're on like a really tight budget. Like $1,800, you get a brand new Honda that'll probably last you your entire life. It can get up to, 45 miles an hour, and, this thing has 9 miles on it, so it's brand new. I imagine it would be able to get a higher speed later in its life after it has a break-in. All right, so guys, let's have a conversation on whether I think you should purchase or pass on the Honda Navi. Now, obviously, this is just my opinion, so take it for what you will. But I think I'm going to go pass on the Honda Navi only because I really enjoy, and I mean really enjoy, the mini bikes. You guys know recently we got a Papio from CF Moto, which is their like Grom competitor. And that's another argument, like you could get a Honda Grom. If it was between this and just a Honda product, I would definitely go with a Grom. I think the amount of power of this bike would be fine for in-city and, maybe like a small town or something like that. But anything outside of that, and I really don't know if this is enough, whereas a Honda Grom has so much more parts and availability and aftermarket accessories, more power. The only thing you would have to trade to go with a Honda Grom is you would have to deal with having a clutch and a shifter. So if you don't know how to ride with a clutch, then, maybe the Honda Grom's not really the right thing for you. But for me, a more experienced rider, and I even appreciate the DCT bikes. I think those are a great option to have in the market. Even with that, I think I would rather go with the clutch system on a Grom or a Papio or a Z125, I definitely think I would go there, but again, that's coming from an experienced rider. Now, who is the ideal customer for the Honda Navi? If you've never ridden before and you are not really interested in learning how to ride with a clutch and a shifter, this would be perfect for you. It would get you on two wheels. You don't have to learn literally anything, and you could buy it and go ride it right now. You know what I mean? There's no, the barrier for entry to get on two wheels with this bike is so low that like you can just get straight on it. So that would be an ideal customer. Another person that would be ideal for this bike would be somebody that is trying to look for an incredibly cost-effective means of transportation and they do not have a lot of cash. There's not a lot of brand new vehicles that come from a very reputable company that you can get for under $2,000 brand new. So the fact that you can get something from Honda like that, it's pretty impressive. That's pretty awesome if you're asking me. My third person that I think would be ideal for this bike is the guy that's going to the track and wants the cheapest thing he can get to ride around the pits as a pit bike. I love the little storage idea if you're doing the track stuff, because that just makes this such a more ideal pit bike. We were at Road Atlanta yesterday and we ended up pitting at the end of like pit row, and we had to, like, I'm all tracked out, like in my track suit and all my track gear. If I would have had one of these just to run me up to where we run the bike in, that would have been perfect. I would have loved it for that. I think if you fall in any of those segments, get this in one of their really fun colorways. I think you will have a great time. So if you're one of those people, I think you guys are going to love the Navi. If you are not, and you're a little more experienced or want something with a little bit of power, the regular mini bike scene, the 125 cc area, is an absolute blast. I love those bikes. I own a CF Moto Papio, and I love everything about it. So if you want a little more power, I would suggest one of those. And guys, that's all I got on the Papio. We're not going to do a sound check on this thing because it has no clutch. We aren't able to do a sound check. So the noise you guys hear here, that's what it is. But anyways, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. This has been a first ride. If you guys got to this point in the video, you're in the outro crew. Put OC in your comment. Make sure to like this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. You guys go out there and ride safe. And here is a video on the first ride we did of the CF Moto Papio, so you can compare it to the Navi. I got to get this thing back before it starts spitting flames. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Later.